people like Langston Hughes, Pablo Neruda, that I was honored enough to meet just when he was beginning to go blind a few years before he died. Martin Carter from Guyana and so on. Thinkers also like C.L.R. James, poets like Langston Hughes, Gwendolyn Brooks, my contemporaries, June Jordan, Baraka, A.B. Spellman, Jane Cortez, I could go on, and around the world, that in a sense, for a South African poet, I think I was almost very, very privileged by faith, by also, I guess, having been political, by finding myself where I was because of those commitments and so on. Then on the African continent and outside, that I think I was the first one to be in direct contact, in a sense, with generations of writers from all the way from Cuba or Havana, Cuba, to Ulaanbaatar, Mongolia, and every place in between. And I think that helped significantly to shape or influence the development of my sensibility at both the artistic and the political level. I mean, for instance, when I met Neruda, and when he found out that I was young, familiar with his work before I left South Africa, that the first poetry book I bought in New York was a copy of his, a collection of his, that tears just rolled down his face, and he kept saying, the party must be doing something in South Africa that we don't know, and kept and shaking his head. But they were tears of a kind of intense happiness and pride in what the South African Communist Party must have been quietly, silently doing, that we had access to certain kinds of reading material in spite of the apartheid monster. Chris Abani is also a fantastic poet and a musician that a lot of people don't know about. But there are many dynamic young voices. What is interesting on the African continent, if you take, for instance, let's say Nigeria and South Africa. When I was young, Nigeria in the 60s produced quite a number of significant poets and playwrights. South Africa was producing fiction writers, and mainly more short story writers or storytellers than poets. Today, with the younger generation, it seems there has been a switch. Nigeria is producing some fantastic fantastic storytellers, and South Africa is producing some dynamic young poetic voices. How do we account for this? I don't know. I really don't know, but it's a welcome change if it is a change. And perhaps the pressures of social demands force the intensity of poetry or the poetic voice from the younger generations here. And the luxury to think things out prosaically, to pursue them, maybe in more graphic detail, lends itself more readily to the Nigerian that has been independent longer. I don't know. That is just conjecture. It doesn't mean we don't produce younger prose writers. I think one of the most powerful novels that just got off the presses is Mandla Langa's The Lost Colors of the Chameleon. I would say it's must reading for anyone interested in the development of literature in South Africa or in Africa as a whole.